Welcome back to Camp Two Fires, everybody. It's time to get our fishing guide report. This is my favorite segment of the radio show entirely. We'll go Captain Neely. Yeah, he's a captain. What the hell? I just promoted him. Dan Neely. Dan Neely? How about Ken Neely? What's your name, dude?
Who the heck am I today?
I don't know. I don't even know who the heck I am.
I don't know. It's only been, 8-9 years?
I know. So, I apologize, Fred.
How you doing there, Phil?
What's happening, Ken?
Fishing.
Yeah?
You can get out in that deep snow. A lot of the lakes around here, that wind we had yesterday kind of blew the snow around a little bit, so there's not as much out there on the ice as you would think.
Okay.
So we've had a lot of guys in here already.
Then that's good, right?
Yeah, it's real good.
Yeah,
real
okay.
Good. It makes walking a little bit easier.
Right.
But they're starting to get the fish. We're seeing some pike coming in here to the store. They're getting pike on suckers right now on the deeper edges of the weed line still. Kind of the same place they were in that late fall fishing we were talking about just a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Biggest one I've seen in here so far was a 41-incher.
Are they doing tip-ups or are they jigging for them?
They're doing tip-ups for the pike.
Okay.
We had a 41-incher. I didn't weigh the fish.
Nice.
But it was it was a real nice pike that came out of a little lake in Davisburg. They're getting good numbers of pike on Pontiac Lake now. Not a whole lot of size. The average size seems to be about 24 to 26 inches right in there.
As long as they're legal, they're good to eat, bud.
Oh yeah, and they're fun to catch too, even if they're a little short.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So they're getting some good pike there. Lake Oakland is doing pretty well on pike right now. Again, on the tip-ups and suckers and some of the bigger golden shiners.
Okay.
That's mostly what they're getting them on a treble hook or a quick strike rig.
They taking any bass while they're doing that?
They are taking some bass. Getting bass on the golden shiners mostly. Bass season is still open until December 31st.
Yep.
So it's perfectly legal to target them and catch them, and if you're so inclined to eat them.
And hug them and love them?
Lug them, yeah, kiss them, take them home, whatever.
Yeah, that's right on. At least one.
But yeah, they're getting bass on a few of the lakes. The crappie action hasn't really started heating up yet, guys.
Okay.
The guys that are catching them are getting some good size ones on the regular lakes around here that are good for early crappie, like Cedar Island.
Okay.
Long Lake's giving up a few crappie. Some of the guys have been out on Union Lake a little bit, but that's one of those bigger, deeper lakes that no ice is safe ice. And
right.
Just be careful when you go out there. Same with Mesa Day and Lotus. That's traditionally a good crappie lake once you get good ice on it.
Okay.
Haven't heard reports on that lake specifically yet, so I don't know what the ice conditions are. But I know a few guys that are getting out.
Okay.
But I don't know where the safe ice is right around the local access on there. But I should find out today because there's a lot of guys, heading out fishing today.
Take your spud. Take your spud.
Take your spud. Take your ice picks.
Yep.
In case you do fall in, you can climb back out. All kinds of things you can do to be safe out there. Either that or take a real big guy fishing with you and send him out.
We do that with Chuck. Yeah, all right, Chuck, go ahead, man. And if he makes it out and drills his holes, we're in.
Perfect. Just follow his track.
Absolutely, bud. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, it's things are heating up right now. I mean, there's not a lake that's fish. All the lakes that are fishable right now, the guys are catching fish on.
Cool.
Catching fish on, catching gills, catching a few crappie, a lot of pike action.
Now, if you don't say you're trying to save a few pennies and you're not going to buy like ice jigs or you can just go out there with a hook and a sinker and and send a minnow down or a waxy down on a small hook. I mean,
you can take a snelled hook just like you do bobber fishing.
Yep.
In the summertime, take a small hook and put that split shot right down just on top of the hook.
Yep.
Right on the line, but just on top of the hook, so it's kind of a makeshift jig head.
Yep.
And send down a waxworm or a minnow or what have you. Use a real small, a size, probably a size 12 or 14 single hook and send her right on down.
And don't get me wrong, I think people should go out there and buy 5-gallon buckets full of ice jigs and all that kind of stuff.
But really though, I mean you can buy 5 jigs for $5.
Okay.
$1 a jig. You can buy wax worms. A dozen of them cost you another $1. Tip-ups. I've got tip-ups here for $5.99.
There you go. The old wood ones.
$10.
Old school.
You can have what you need to get out there and get started.
Yeah, you can.
So it's not. It doesn't cost.
Well, then we're talking. Then we're talking about an ice auger. That's a whole other deal.
Or you can go out and find somebody else's holes and
There you go. I know a lot of guys. I know a lot of people who do that.
Yeah, you can do an auger or you can do a spud.
I knew a guy got shot once. Anyway, go ahead.
You can take a spud out there with you if you don't want to auger. It's a little bit more work, but $15-20 you can get you a nice heavy spud, and that'll tap some holes in there for you.
Right on.
See, my only problem with ice fishing, the reason it costs me a lot of money,
What is that?
tears up the bottom of my boat.
Well, yeah, yeah. You're not a hard water guy.
Not much.
I know. I hear you.
You know me. I'm a tournament bass fisherman.
Yes, you are.
I like to chase after the fish. I don't like to sit there and watch them come to me. However, with that said, when my good and trusted friends come to me and say, "Hey, the jumbo perch are biting, or we're getting 10-inch bluegill over here," yeah, I'll go sit over a hole for a little while.
Sure. Why not? Absolutely. And you can, again, like you said, you can do it cheaply.
Oh yes.
It's one of the sports left that you can.
Yep, absolutely. And with all the auto workers, thank God for that loan, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
With all these auto workers having some extra time off, they're shutting down for about a month. Instead of sitting around the house, get the snow shoveled out of the driveway, get your work done out of the way, and go out and go fishing.
Absolutely.
Spend a few bucks and go have a day of fun out on the lake.
Sounds good to me. All right, dude.
All
right, man. We appreciate it. Merry Christmas to you and yours.
You too.
All right, bud.
Talk to you, fellas.
All right. Now, in the studio with us for the second time in 8 years. Is this the second time you've been here or third? Third time?
Yep.
Is Captain Dan from Lakeside Bait and Tackle down there on 10 Mile and Jefferson.
Top of the morning, guys.
How you doing? Good to have you in.
Right back where we started from, snow all over Michigan.
Sure.
It's getting really pretty out there, and I'll tell you what, you got to really be careful now when you get back out on the ice because that snow is going to be over the top of it.
Okay.
It's not so much the insulation part you got to worry about right now because we're working with maybe 4 to 5 inches base ice already.
Really?
You got to make very sure you don't step in nobody's shanty holes, though.
Right.
That's what's going to be the bummer. So use that spud in front of you. And one more time, no such thing as safe ice.
Right.
Be prepared, get out there and have a ball because it's the best time of the year to go out fishing. And like was previously stated, it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. We highly recommend your biggest cost is going to be an auger. Pick yourself up a good laser auger for $70 or $80 or $90. The thing's going to last you a lifetime. You
Sure.
can probably punch 500 holes or you even have to sharpen the blades as long as you take care of it and don't let it ice up on you.
And take Chuck with you.
Yeah, and take Chuck with you. Send him out there first.
That's what I do. Yep.
He goes through. We ain't going no further than that. That's the end of the line right there.
And he's a heck of a guy for drilling holes.
Yep. You talk about Ken messing up the bottom of his boat. That's why I quit ice fishing. 'Cause the hole's too big to chop for the boat. That just kills you. By the time you get done, you got to go home.
Yeah. Well, what you do is you get yourself a snowmobile and troll.
Yeah, that'll work. Yeah. That'll work. Very good. Bob, you come up with some dandies.
I tell you what.
Many years of rock and rollers.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So
getting back to fishing.
Ice, where?
Yep, everywhere. St. Clair Shores, like I said, you're working between 4 and 5 inches of basic ice. That's more than enough to walk on without worrying about going through. You still got to be a little bit careful, though, for, like I said, other guys' holes and shanty holes. Use that spud in front of you.
Okay.
Right out from the back of the St. Clair Shores Library off 11 Mile. They're taking a lot of perch, not getting too many keepers, but a lot of action to keep you busy in there. Number one way to get them is probably with spikes and then mousies and waxworms. Small ice jig with a little bobber or a spring bobber. Work them from top to bottom. Sometimes them fish are just under the ice this time of year. Sometimes they're midway and sometimes they're right on the bottom. But nice fish coming out of there. You really got to work hard to get a bunch of keepers, but action all day long.
Okay.
Also, over by Geno's Surf, ran into a little problem over there. They're taking some real nice crappies and some real nice perch just before dark. However, some of the guys are going through a hole in a fence to fish on the water there in back of that one big condo in the job that's over there. And that's a no-no. That is trespassing. Yep, $50 ticket. And there's another ticket. There's another ticket that some of these guys are picking up now, and you really, I don't know, you just got to have some common sense. Indecent exposure, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The guy's got to take a whiz, and they're doing it right there in front of these guys and their kids in their $200,000 condos, and they are hot.
I would be too.
And the police and the sheriff are taking real good care of them. That's a $500 fine in the state of Michigan for indecent exposure. The other thing is, I had a call from a couple of people complaining, these guys are leaving their coffee cups on the ice, they're leaving their candy wrappers on the ice, empty bait containers. Come on, guys. You know, the majority of us really care about what we're doing out there, and we try to keep the state clean. Do the same. The ice fairy's not going to come up and clean up after you.
No.
You know, that's not going to happen. You may kick you in the fanny if you're leaving that stuff there.
And you make yourself unwelcome.
Police your area,
and you
please,
And you make us look bad.
Absolutely. 10% ruin it for the other 90. It's the same old story. But the fishing there has been fairly good. As long as you stay on the ice, they can't stop you from fishing almost anywhere unless they have a gate across it or signs up, keep out or whatever. Because as long as it's open water, you can walk in there and fish without any problems whatsoever. It's when you cross their privately fenced off land to get on the ice is where you run into a jackpot.
That's when they get excited.
Yep. And over there at Geno's, just to let everybody know, it's $3 for parking during the week, $5 on the weekend. It's an excellent access point for Lake St. Clair. You can go all over that lake from there, and especially get up near Metropolitan Beach right now. They got some good reports coming off the beach right there. The guys in that area are fishing like 2 feet of water. Same program, spikes, waxworms, and mousies. Minnows too, but the majority of the guys right now are into that the artificial bait and the live grubs. Any of those maggots are doing real well right now. Also, I've got some good reports coming out of New Baltimore, out in back of the Raft Bar. That section out there has probably got 8 to 10 inches of ice in some spots already, believe it or not. But you've only got 16, 18 inches of water.
Okay.
So the boys are, they really got to be careful where they're punching their holes. You don't want to go through into that sand. You talk about dulling an auger up. That'll do it real quick.
Yeah. Right. All
and
right.
Locally, that's just about it. But further up north, over in Saginaw Bay, the boys have been fishing up there for like 2 weeks now. Real good perch action, real close to shore. They're just starting to get ready to start pounding them walleyes, and that's just coming around the corner. And I'm sure you'll get into that a little bit later on in the show.
Well, we're gonna take a break and come back to it next.
Very good, my boy.
With Joe Reamer. We'll get into that in just a minute, folks. Come right back. Y'all here? Whatever.